Good morning, everybody. Before I talk, just can I have a good round of applause for the morning energy. So I'll share you my story today. Imagine it's a cold, foggy morning. I'm standing at 15,000 feet inside a tiny plane, and door opens, and suddenly, word disappears into white. Instructor clips me in. My toe, every muscle in my body is screaming. What if the parachute doesn't open? What if I don't make it back? For a second, I turn back. I want to quit. But then, painted on the side of the plane, I notice a lane. Life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. And before I overthink, I step forward and I jump. The free fall lasted only 60 seconds. But in those 60 seconds, I discovered something that shaped rest of my life. Fear always looks bigger before you leap. Fear doesn't vanish when the parachute opens. It carries the same fear in everyday life. What if I'm not enough? Not all fears are bad. Rational fear keeps us alive, like fire burns, snake bite. But irrational fear, which is a whisper in your head, what if they laugh? What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? Here is the funny part. Your brain doesn't even know the difference. To the brain, standing here on the stage feels same as facing the tiger in the wild. But here is the trap. Fear hides behind the logic. It says, stay safe, be practical. And if you follow the logic, sure enough, you end up a life that looks good on paper, but looks empty inside. So I had to break this logic. So I had asked myself a question. What would I create if I'm not afraid of failing? I don't know the answer yet. But I knew I had to figure out. So 15 years back, I made a pact with myself. Every year, I would pick up one new skill I was afraid of. So it all started small. Year one, which is 15 years back, I was scared of water. So I chose swimming as my first challenge. By end of first year, I did not only win the gold at the zonal level, but today I can swim non-stop for 15, but today I can swim non-stop for 90 minutes. Then came the year two. So I had to choose the second challenge. I was living in New York, and I was living close to a ski resort. So I thought this is a perfect opportunity for me to choose skiing as my second challenge. So I decided to take ski as my second challenge. I took the lessons. So I went from never seen a snow in my lifetime because I grew up in Bangalore, and skiing a Swiss Alps by end of 1 year. Year three, just like you, when I was in school, I was scared of writing. I was scared even to write a single page of essay in school. So that fear haunted me when I was in a corporate. So I decided, year three, I should start writing. Started with 1 page, 2 page. By the time of 1 year, I was able to publish 3 great books online. So in the last 15 years, as you see, I have acquired 15 new skills. These new skills it doesn't only give me new skills, but it's a vote of confidence. So what I would say is, push yourself every year, little by little. One day, you will be amazed what you have achieved so far. Confidence isn't something you are born with. It's something you build, one small win at a time. Now, all of you here, think of something which you always wanted to achieve. Not like climbing a Mount Everest, but something real and practical. Hold the thought in your mind. We'll come back to that later. So, I've been in corporate for the last 2 decades. Here's what nobody tells you. A lot of you think fear will disappear after you're successful, but it isn't. Fear is not going to disappear when you're successful. It's going to showcase in different ways. Even after small wins, one small fear remained in me. What if I put a reset button to my life? What if I quit a job? I had a dream job in Bay Area, but I knew back of my mind I can do something bigger. This confidence came from my 15 small bets which I took for the last 15 years. So I decided one day, I quit my job, I packed up, moved back to India. I wanted to do a startup. But nothing goes according to the plan. My startup one, as you already know, failed within 6 months. Startup 2, I was burning cash more than I was earning. Startup 3, barely alive. But here's the thing. Failure did not burn me, but it built me. And I realized failure is not opposite of success. It's part of it. Today, I run multiple ventures. I mentor founders. I build communities that help others to take their very first step. So the hardest question. How do you conquer fear? Is there any mantra for conquering fear? Yes. When you look at this powerful diagram here, you have to conquer fear by finding an alignment. How do you find an alignment? You find an alignment what you're good at, what you love, and what the world needs, and what you can be valued for. The intersection of these is a purpose, and it gives an alignment for your purpose. For me, alignment was very clear. It was a startup, and also helping founders to take their first step. That's where I fuel my, this is the way I turn my fear into fuel. Because fear doesn't vanish when you succeed, but it does, or it can vanish when you live your purpose. So I don't conquer fear by becoming a fearless. I conquer by becoming familiar with the fear. But here is what I learned at the morning of 15,000 feet. When your toes are at the edge to start something new, the leap will never ever feel easy. Every small win is a parachute waiting quietly until the moment you leap. I asked you a question earlier. What is the one thing you have been waiting to start? Don't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Start scared, start small, start unsure, but please start. The leap will always be smaller than the regret of never jumping. And life begins the moment you do. Thank you very much.